I like that camera angle. Sweet mother of goodness. Alright, that's gonna work. It should be. So, yeah, it's got rid of the lag time. Right, what's up? Well, we had 5 people, now we're down to 3. I guess since I got on here, everybody went, scared them off. There were 2 people wanting to watch, so I saw my ugly mug, and then they were done. Oh, hey, look, there's a... Yeah. We'll wait just a little bit longer here, and we'll get started. We're going to do this... Hello, man, I'm going to butcher your name. I know it's Tolbert. Oh, don't do that. Look up Zombie Raven. So, we're going to do the Raven perched on top of the skull. I'm only going to do a, basically like this, a half skull. I'm not going to do the bottom jaw. I think it'll look a lot better. Hey, what's up, Jason? What's up, Greg? I just think it'll look a lot better with just a flat skull like this versus having the jaw underneath. So we're only going to do half the skull for this project. And I'm not going to do the skull from scratch. I can. I've never done a video on it, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to replicate this skull. It's a quick and easy, dirty way to do it. And then we'll do the Raven. I'm not going to work on the Raven tonight. Tonight's just basically going to be the skull and doing some teeth. I found this, I went and Googled like ravens, and I Googled zombie ravens and things like that, because I wanted the Raven to be, I wanted to have a creepier, just a better, a cooler look than just a standard Raven. So, let's see, you got that picture up? Let me see it. See if I can find this picture here, and I'll show you what we're going to base the Raven off of. Hello, Lacey. Where is this at? I got the picture on my phone. I didn't put it up on. Is this Pinterest or Google?
This is Pinterest.
Oh, no. I need to go to Google. Go to Google. Go to Google. Google has everything. Anyway, I found a super cool, it's almost like a mummified or a corpse raven or something. I don't know. It's pretty. Hey, what's up, Gina? And Harrison. Awesome. Hey, Vicky. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Amy. What's up? So as soon as we get this picture, hey Joseph, as soon as we get this picture pulled up of the Raven, I want to show you guys that, because I'm really kind of excited about doing the Raven. That's going to be fun. No, don't save that. Yeah, so, oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Pull up big. Alright, see if I can do this and you guys can see it. Hang on. Okay. See that thing? This is how we're going to do our Raven. I think that is freaking awesome. It's almost like a mummified Raven, or I don't know. But if you guys just Google, if you Google zombie Raven, you'll find that picture in Google Images. And so that's the inspiration that I'm going to use for this Raven. It should be pretty wicked. And I think I'm going to go ahead and pull this picture up a little bit. You can see here he's missing a leg. And I think we're even going to do that, where he's only got one leg and then the leg is missing. So because of that, yeah, I'm going to be replicating this skull, but I'm going to be doing a little more to the skull than I normally do, because when I do my ground breakers or anything else, generally I don't like clay over the skull or anything. It's just the paper, the strip mache. Due to the fact that we're going to perch this raven on top, and I'm not sure how heavy it'll be or anything else, what we're probably going to do a light layer of clay over the base skull as well, and I think I'm going to foam fill it at the same time, because if we do that one leg all by itself, we'll have a wire armature going down and coming out of the good leg, and we'll shove a big piece of wire way down into the head. That way it can hold up on one leg. I don't know. We're going to play that by ear. I haven't got that far ahead. I mean, that's, you know, our skull's yay big. I don't know, a good sized raven if he's standing up. I don't know, maybe about that tall. Kind of big, maybe, I don't know. It's the first time I've made one. I haven't even made a raven with Mache, so you guys are going to see me screw up this whole time, but it's going to be fun. But it's going to be fun, so anyway, let's get, I know a lot of you guys have already seen my video on doing this, and a whole lot of you guys already know how to replicate a skull, but oh, Dan's here. What's up, Dan? But we're starting from scratch, so in case there's anybody that watches this now, or if they're watching it later on YouTube and they haven't done this before, they'll see the whole process from the beginning. So tonight's not going to be real exciting. If you guys have questions, that'll be the most exciting thing, is us talking back and forth. We're just going to wrap this thing up and start machining it down and creating our replica of our skull. So drink them if you got them. I am. Yeah, and this is going to be kind of noisy, and I'm going to have to make that smaller. You can do this different ways. Like, you could even take Vaseline. I've done that before. I've just like Vaseline the skull up to create a release, basically a mold release. It works okay. I've had times though where I didn't get Vaseline over everything, so then I had issues later on getting it off. I've just over time realized that by doing aluminum foil over it, it just makes it so much easier to get off. You may need to refresh, because my feed that I'm watching over here behind me seems to be pretty decent. And I'm doing this from my phone again, which we had the best luck with last time. So I think we should be okay. Greg's having no problem with his feeds either. Sweet. Yeah, I saw that too. Strong. Alright. Cool. So it's not the feed. Yeah, I would just reset yours. No buffering on Amy either. Thank you guys. That's always been a big concern with all this, is buffering issues, but I realize it's my equipment. Joseph. Oh! Oh, bummer. Right on. Well, it'll be on YouTube later on. And then, you know what? When it's not live, you can fast skip all the boring stuff. Oh, I feel like I haven't wrapped the skull in forever. I haven't done any round breakers and new skulls lately. Yeah, Unhinged Productions on YouTube. Hey, Paula, what's up? Oh, thank you. The little one we made in the live class. The big one I need to finish painting. And here's my wood clay. That's gonna be, well, that'll be deep enough for the nose. That'll work. And, oh, we got a little spot right there. I'm being too rough with my aluminum foil. Creating all kinds of breaks in it. It's going to create issues later. Don't know this off. Phenomena. Phenomena. That song is stuck in my head. Phenomena. Let's get some of this stuff in there. God, this big foil. Dang. I guarantee that's annoying on everybody's speakers. Some of that aluminum foil. Get that in there. Maybe I should just Vaseline this one. I haven't done it forever. I've only done it like once or twice. One time it worked out great, one time it was a little clean. Here, let's get that stuff to his forehead. It's awful quiet in the chat. Yeah, is it? No, I mean, well, if you're going to use Vaseline, you got to get it really lubed up. If you're going to use Vaseline and you've got a skull like this Bucky skull or whatever, that's more of a what am I even trying to think of? This for a doctor's skull. You want to push some clay back in here in the eye sockets, because like this one, it's open all the way through. So push some clay back in here, push some clay in the nose, and then you go through that and really put a bunch of Vaseline in there, and it gives you something to work the paper into. And when you're doing the Vaseline, anytime I've done it, I've coated it down with Vaseline, and then I've taken my paper dry, no Mache paste on it, and stuck that to the Vaseline and worked it in until I got it layered over, and then I'd start Macheing over the top of that. But man, there's times when I've done it, and I swear I've had just a boatload of Vaseline on there, and still wound up getting the paper sticking to the skull, which really created issues. later on. I saw that. Traitor.
He's trying to support me in one thing.
Amy's making some pretty cool freaking pumpkins. I like that lawn she just got done. That's pretty killer. I really like your stems, Amy, because I like the base of the stem just for the fact that it looks more like what a real pumpkin stem looks like, right? Because it just got those outer edges that come down. They're not over exaggerated. I really like that. So I think I'm going to steal that and use it on some of mine because I like it. Looks really good. It is when you get started with it, right? But if you don't get the whole thing covered and covered good, when you get that mache stuck to the skull, you'll hate yourself because it's very, very annoying and pain in the rear. Anyway, all right. All right, we're done tonight. That's all we're going to do. We fooled the skull. See you guys. Bye. All right, we got that done. We're foiled up now, and I'll probably have to readjust the camera. Anytime I do, like if you've seen my videos, the hands, when I do hands, when I do skulls and stuff like this, I got this 4x4 block, and this is just a piece that I think it's like 1/2 inch dowel. I drilled down in there. I like this because I put it on here, and now I can work the whole skull. I can do top, bottom, everything all at once, and I can completely cover this whole thing in one setting, and I don't have to worry about it sticking anything. I don't have to do the top and come back tomorrow and do the bottom, or vice versa. I can work all the way around this thing, and I can spin it, and it just works out a lot better. So anytime I'm doing hands projects or anything like that, this is what I do. And I need to raise you guys up some. Like 2x4. Sweet. Hang on. I'm going to drop you. Oh, shnikes. There we go. Right. You can see the whole skull there. Very good. One thing. Banana. You guys seen that Facebook feed? I don't know if any of you guys remember. But if you grew up in, I did, the Muppets were a big deal. You know, like Kermit the Frog and Animal and all those guys. You know, there was that one little deal with the creatures. Yeah, that's been going around Facebook, and oh my God, I forgot all about that, and I got tagged in it. So funny. That song is so catchy, and it gets stuck in your head. My daughter doesn't like, she's in a bad mood tonight. She didn't like, not Sesame Street, the Muppet Show. The Muppet Show.
She's like a 10-year-old, that's like a 20-year-old.
Yes, she is. Alright, so, doing the skull. Mache paste tonight again is just, normally my mache paste is always just wood glue and water anymore. Titebond 2. I've had people ask me different questions about that, and I've used some different brands of wood glue, and when I use the different brands of wood glue, it seems like it gets a rubbery texture, especially when I'm making clay. So Titebond 2 I stick with a lot. I need to test Titebond 3 because it's supposed to be more weather resistant than what this is. I need to buy some and just try it, but it's where this stuff's like $20 a gallon or something like that. The Titebond 3 is almost $30 a gallon, so I haven't gone out just to experiment that right now. But we're going to cover this guy up. Just before I get going, you know, when you start doing the eyes and the nose and things like that, to really capture that detail, the smaller your strips are, like this strip's even kind of big. So if I'm going to try to really catch that detail in his eyes and nose, you'll see me tearing this stuff apart. I'll make smaller strips, right? The smaller the strip is, the easier it is to get this small detail in here. Also, I'm using, this is not newspaper, this is phone book print. I like using phone book paper on the skulls because it seems to lay a little bit better. It conforms better. You get better detail with it. However, it's freaking really thin. I'm not cheap. It's really thin, but so you got to put extra layers on this to make the skull stronger. So you really got to add a bunch of layers to it to get the same strength you would with newspaper or something else. But this just conforms a lot better. And then I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, I showed the videos to you before, and it'd be the same way with the Vaseline. At first, this is super irritating and frustrating because your Mache doesn't really like to stick to the aluminum foil that much. It'll slide around. It's a pain in the rear, right? Danny? Mm-hmm. So, slide around on you. You just need to stick with it. Once you get the first base layer on here, then all of a sudden everything will start sticking together and it'll go a lot better for you. But at the beginning, it's very irritating. I mean, I get irritated a lot with it when I'm doing it. So I usually start, I'm going to start with the eye sockets and around the nose, that type of junk, and then I'll move on back to the back because that stuff's easy to get. It's the detail up front that I try to capture right off the get-go. That's the most tedious, it's the most irritating part. So we'll get that out of the way first, right? Swallow the frog first, and then go to the easiest stuff after that. So that's what we're going to do. I'm in a good mood tonight. I don't know. Amy, have you tried Type Bond 3 in any of your projects? Did Greg, did I miss something?
Greg said 3 works too.
Oh, right on.
3 is more expensive. And so yes, it does, Greg. But they're cheap.
Oh, that's where the cheap stuff came in. Okay, awesome. So I'll ask you this, Greg, because I don't know. I test like half my crap. So, see, after my own heart right there, right? He's saying it. Have you noticed a big difference in how Type Bond 3 holds up in the weather? Have you ever just like built a ball or a pumpkin raw, just Type Bond 3 and set it outside and done that with like some Type Bond 2 and seen which one holds up in the weather without any extra protection? If you have, let me know. If you haven't, then maybe I'll buy some and do that in the future, and we'll find out really which one is better. Really? Did you mix it with clay? Was it in a clay recipe where you used it, or did you use it just as a shade paste? It was the wood clay. Yeah. See, I didn't use Type Bond 3 in the wood clay. I used Type Bond 2. And that's still something too with the wood clay is, I don't know if different types of wood will have issues. Because I didn't have, in all the batches of wood clay I made, I had two. I had 2 small cracks, and they were in this pumpkin actually, and they were right up here in the top where I was really thick. And then I just went back in and put some more back in later, and you couldn't even tell. Other than that, I didn't get any cracking out of it, and I didn't get any shrinking out of it, so I was pretty happy with it. But that stuff's still new too, and I gotta get some more sawdust and make some more wood clay and play with that a little bit more. See how that goes. What? Oh, he sent the phenomenon thing.
Which one's at the play, I think, and they have overdone it with the product. Now, enough experience with it yet, how much it's too much.
Yeah, that takes some getting used to too, right? And it's hard to. Oh, I hate starting this out. Oh, it never wants to stick. Takes a while to get used to that stuff. Really play around with it. But if you get too much sawdust in there, it gets too dry and it doesn't want to work right. There you go. I don't know if they can hear that or not. YouTube will probably pull that, like, because of copyright laws.
Really?
Probably. Phenomena.
You'll just have to sit in for me,
That's right. Oh, I forgot how much I don't like aluminum foil. Because it so doesn't want to stick. Frustration is real. The fight is real. Haha. That's funny. Oh, shit. I'll just bring the jam box and play something else. Stick! It's being a pain in the rear. Moose! I'm getting requests. I got a buddy of mine's watching and he's got a couple dogs. Moose!
That love you, obviously.
Moose, come here!
Probably looking for it everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Oh, it's just the same frustrating thing as it always is at the beginning, like I said earlier. Doesn't like to stick. No Vaseline on the foil, no. It can stick to the foil all at once. Well, I prefer it to stick to the freaking foil like it's supposed to.
You're always too excited when you did that.
That's funny.
I think tape over the foil helps the mistake stick.
Totally, it would, and I probably totally should have done that. I think I'd done that in the past too to help out, but yeah, I forgot tonight. I'm busy with everything else. The tape totally helps out. You would think I would know what I'm doing after putting out videos and doing live class. The magic of editing.
Dad says I've been putting some paste on there for chip wraps.
Yeah, that'll help too. You get a little paste on there first, and especially if it kind of dries down a little bit, it'll help it get tacky and sticky. I should probably grab a brush. You know, and when I paint my paste on too, I don't worry about, like, I actually use pretty decent brushes. I don't worry about using a chip brush because for the most part, as long as you're keeping it wet and then you turn around and wash it out after you're done, you won't ruin your brush. Oh, I almost set my patience for this evening. What? The water, yeah. There's something going on in the chat that I don't know about.
Nobody's pissed it off. They're silent.
And how much would you have to talk about when you're watching someone just put strip paper over the skull?
I'd be talking a lot, so I'd be good.
That most of these guys have already done. Oh, you mule!
You're trying to...
I'm sorry, SOB. I should have put tape on this. I should have taped it all up. Oh well. I've already got Mache going on it now. It's live. I can't cut and edit it.
See, I'm getting like a back off over here, so it's a little slower, so if you can come here to rest afterwards.
In my past experiences of doing this, I've realized that tape is better. However, tonight, while we're doing live class, I'm going to show you the hardest way to do it.
Just so you can watch the photo.
There's nothing better than showing you the way not to do it live. But even Vaseline, I mean, you've got to put that stuff on dry at first, or it won't stick.
There's just sitting there listening to you.
That's funny. I can so see, you know, it's just being like, what?
Where is he?
Where's he at? Where's he at? Harry. Oh man, this ice rocket's really going to hack me off here in a minute. Gonna have to get out the baseball bat.
I'm not putting Workstation.
Do I have some blanks laying around here? Oh man, if I have a blank, then what am I doing this? I could just been like, go watch my video, here's a blank, let's get rolling. That's not a blank. That's a zombie. He's got eyeballs and skin and everything. Are you kidding me? Do you even know what I do?
No, I don't know you. Don't you know this by now?
I'm kind of
I'm kidding you.
coming to terms with that. Considering I made that zombie head like a long time ago. Out of a blank. Well, I'm supposed to do a torso. I promised everybody that I would do a video on the torso and that we would paint it and everything. And that was a year ago, and I still don't have it done yet. I probably could create that video.
It's like you said you did a paint. You did something.
I'm not worried about the paint.
Because you don't worry about me.
That plant needs to be burned.
No, it doesn't.
It is not worth even saying I did it at all. Alright, so after the struggle of that, we'll move along a little better now. Is anybody building tonight, or is anybody going to build this project? Like later on, work on it this week? I'm really excited for the Raven part. That thing's going to be, I'm like stoked for that Raven, right? That thing's going to be so cool. This is just a base skull. I've done skulls before, so I'm not really super excited about doing this part. But man, the Raven's going to be so much fun. I've already got some pretty good ideas on how to pull that look off, right? with some different materials that I've already done before in the past, and I think we can make that raven just wicked looking. Really add something. I was thinking about that tonight when I was doing all this, and because later on this will probably just wind up being a prop. Yeah, you run out of gas and ground breakers and stuff after a while. You run out of gas, Greg, when you're doing like the same things over and over again. Like if you build 5 or 6 props at once, you kind of, after doing the same thing time and time again, you run out of gas because you're just building the same crap over and over again. Right on. What was I saying? I was talking about the raven. Oh, yeah. Like this project, when it's done, I'm going to use this in a spook house. It'll probably sit on top of a table. But I was also thinking, by the time this thing's done, that raven's on top, I guess it'd be real cool to be like on top of a wood staff for like a witch, right? And that would be like the top part of the witch's staff, the skull and the zombified raven. That would be sweet. Don't thank me for this. Thank everybody who voted for the raven and skull and whoever even came up with. Oh, okay. Huh. Think yourself. You came up with the idea. Everybody else voted on it. I'm just trying to show you the hardest way to do it. Alright. Now I thought I had something to talk about, but I don't. Doing mache work. Let me tell you, doing strip mache, I hate it. It's the most dull, like boring part and thing to do, but it's important, especially when you're going to use it as your foundation. You need to make it strong, you need to make it work good, but man, there's times I just dread laying strip mache down, because it's not exciting, it's not coming together, you're just laying up foundation work.
What I do actually, because actually I'm going to get off my butt and get to work on them, and then I'll watch them.
There you go. Yes, it.
Paula said, another phone, she's taking a break and filling it with all that.
There, it's finally coming together. Now she's starting to stick a little bit better. And I gotta quit. Here's the thing too, right? So I'm always worried about picking up all the details and all that crap like I want it from the beginning and everything else, and it doesn't really matter. You can slop this on, and as it wets down more and you put more layers on, then you can push down and get all that detail out. And if I wasn't so anal half the time, I could probably move these projects along a lot faster than what I do. And that's my own fault. Oh, that song is so stuck in my head. It has been for like 5 days. let's move along to some bigger stuff here. Let's push this speed a little bit more.
I'm just like, yeah, mine too, thanks. I didn't realize that, you joke.
It's funny though. Oh, really? That didn't taste good. Got a little bit of glue on that. Still. Now this is going to have my DNA on it. In my mouth. It's going to be worth 4 times the money now. Alright, we got 17 people. So who all's on here? Let's do a roll call real quick. There's 17. I know Amy's here, Hollywood Hunters is here, I know Greg is here.
Jason said I had to be hot. He and stuff, and then he was scared. Abel said it would be great if we could just make the whole scroll and a place and write newspaper around it, and it would be done.
That would be freaking awesome.
Check this out.
What am I checking out?
Oh my God. Let me put this straight.
Nips. Ah, that's hilarious. He's watching me. That's funny.
Even the dog's watching it.
That's hilarious. Oh, now it's fun. Move. Bang. Yeah, so bang.
Like a dude just doing it.
I was trying to recount everybody that I knew I saw.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah. At least the past 2 feeds, we haven't had to bounce around the internet like crazy.
Don't say it's loud.
No one's been having to chase me from YouTube, Facebook, and back and forth. We've done pretty good. We've done pretty good. Language. I can't censor that. There's a beep, beep, beep. It would also been smarter just to set it at the bottom too. Yeah, that's about right. That bites. Whatever, you can just say straight up, hey, this is boring. I'm going to wait till next week when you're working on something more interesting than the skull. Dropping like flies, man. We're down to 11 now.
Well, he lost an edge too. He was letting her lost an edge, and he did, but he decided he wanted to play. He lost another one.
That's funny. Down to 10. Down to 10. See, that's the rough thing, is trying to think about things to talk about. Keep everybody entertained while I do this plain stuff. For those that are hanging in there, I guess the best thing would be if everybody was just working on it at the same time. You get those questions. You guys tell me, what's more entertaining, right? Like if I come up with things to talk about, Oh, I missed a comment.
Jason said the faithful are beautiful. I'm always trying to win.
Right on.
Jason is always very caring and hopefully for next time. I'm trying to remember because I'm bad with names, so I can't put the things to have to get with. Okay. And Paula, yes, Paula. Lindy is still here. Yeah. Chris will have to go through the continuous planning and taping before the real fun.
Yeah, right. You can't get anywhere without doing this stuff first.
So you got Danny watching.
For a little while. You got Danny watching.
It does know how many ways we do on this so we can top it off and still be able to keep myself.
We're gonna need to do at least 5 to 6 layers on this, right? It's gonna have to be nice and strong and tight. And when we go to pop this off, which will pop off next Monday, it's kind of a pain. It'd be easy to explain live with you guys, but yeah, at least 5 or 6 layers. A lot of times I put a lot of layers on at once. I'm going to put quite a few layers on this tonight as we go, try to get the bulk of them out. But I'm not usually, like when I do my pumpkins and other things, I'll get all the layers I need all done at one time, right? And then I just let it dry. But with these skulls, because so much paste balls up down the eye sockets and things like that, I'll layer this up pretty good. I'm going to let it dry, and then tomorrow night I'll probably come along and put another layer on it, and I'll wind up putting a couple more layers on it. But even doing this, you'll see I'll probably put 3 or 4 layers right now. But yeah, at least 5 or 6 layers, because it's got to be nice and stout, or you'll lose that detail. And I've done them pretty thin too, and then when I've cut the skull apart and then go try to put it back together again, man, if you don't have it layered up and if it's not rigid, it's a real pain to get it to line back out and hold together like you want it.
Well, Jason says mine paper is why I have so many half-done projects. And Greg left for a minute and comes back, and he says, "Hey, back. Let's see if I can try from the place holding on my fingers." So he's doing some stuff too.
Awesome. At least he's working on something. He's probably working on some groundbreakers.
Greg needs somebody to type for him.
Right. Yeah, see, as you guys can tell, I'm not typing. That's why I recruited my wife to help out with this.
But then you didn't like last week, so I wouldn't get into help.
Yeah. Well, I needed some time to figure out exactly how I can attack this. What kind of... I wanted a really cool razor too. I didn't just want standard pro or Raven or whatever.
Amazing though, starting the 30th of April, your daughter is going to start having games on Mondays, and you're going to have to switch to those. Every Monday and Thursday.
Starting when?
The 30th of April.
Alright, I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but starting the 30th of this month, my daughter is playing softball. Her games are Monday nights and Thursday nights. So we're going to have to do live class or whatever on a different night. Does Tuesday work? I try to stay away from Friday nights because most people are doing other stuff. You guys kind of let me know what you think. I like Monday nights, but we'll have to do it different.
It's still about a month or so.
Yeah, until softball season is over.
Greg said not, but that's why I did you decide on how you'll go about the animal for the raven.
I'm still been pulling that over in my head because here's the thing. Even in that picture, if you saw the picture, there was still quite a bit of body left on that thing, and like I want to have some bones and some ribs exposed. So some of it's going to be like rolled up newspaper and stuff, but I think for the main bolt coming through, it's going to be a wire. I'm not sure what kind of wire I'm going to use. I'll probably cheat because I've got like electric wire and things like that for my job, and I'll probably use that on the inside and wrap paper around, stuff like that, because I think it'll work the best. So it'll either be some type of wire, hanger, or whatever will be the main kind of structure on the inside of the crow there, and then I'll bulk some things out. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do this teeny tiny, I want to do this little bitty rib cage because I want like some ribs exposed. I'm not sure how I'm going to approach that yet. I was thinking about I would ball up some mache, some strip mache, and make a nice little ball, kind of a rib cage size thing for a bird, and then wind up cutting through that and individually cutting out where it looks like it's got ribs, and then I can layer over that and I can expose ribs and stuff. It'll be tedious, but we'll see how it goes, and that's what excites me, right? Because even though that stuff's going to be tedious, man, if you spend the time and do that kind of detail on that raven, oh, it's going to be just freaking awesome.
Okay, so maybe says one could say like it like super and so that like so color. April I like to do 2 layers of newspaper and then a layer of yellow paper to make sure I get good coverage. Then dry I do more layers from that.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of that too, where like I would use yellow pages and then white pages and stuff. That way I had even some of them were pink. That way I could make sure I was recovering in between each layer, and that's a good way to go, right? Because you can just see by the color, you know what you're covering up. However, lately I've been really lazy about worrying about tearing apart different colors of paper. I've just been going at it, but no, that's a great way to do it. And I used to do that a whole lot. It really helps you make sure you're getting complete coverage between your layers. All those little tricks help out. Yeah, it's not. I mean, like this phone book, wherever it went, I don't know. But on the back side of it, like there's at least 20 or 30 pages that are all done in yellow on it, so you can kind of get the white and yellow all in one. Honestly, I just get lost in it, and I probably put, when I say I put 5 layers on, I probably put like 20 layers on all at one time. Because any of you guys have watched anymore, when I've carved stuff out, it's always much easier for me to use my Dremel tool instead of a X-Acto knife or anything, because it's actually layered up that thick. My brain is thinking, precious. Stick. Sissy, you came at such a good time.
I'm not going to.
Please. What's wrong with him? You text him the boys, do you? And you're being grouchy?
No.
And you're being grouchy? No, don't say it on here. Oh, really? I lost it. Man, I should have made some bigger strips. See, and I got all excited when I was doing this, and I've really like made so many of my strips so small. And right now that I'm down on the back side of the skull, I really need these things to be bigger. And ooh, hey, that's a good idea. Who asked that? Amy. Well, now I think we will. I wasn't going to before, but I got some LEDs. I think I still got 2 red LEDs. So I was going to foam fill it. We'll foam fill it. I got some LEDs. I'll put some lights in the inside, then foam fill it with the LEDs. Yeah, that'd be cool. I think we'll do that. We'll just make it even harder than it already is. Oh, Sandy oddities?
Yeah, I wasn't sure, so I asked. I didn't ask you.
Oh. So yeah. Now, when you were talking like in the skull, right? Amy, you weren't talking about making the crow's eyes light up, correct? Because I really don't know how I'm going to hide wiring inside that. Because when we do the crow too, I'm going to make like, I've already figured that when I did the head, I was going to, yep, okay, skull. Yeah, skull, we'll light the skull eyes up. When I do the crow, I'm thinking when I do the head, I'm actually going to make the head more look like a crow skull at first. That way, as we're making it, if I want to leave some of the bone side of that open to be seen, we've got all those options, right? And I can cover everything else. And I'll do that a lot, right? Like, if you're going to make it bad, or if you're going to make even a zombie or whatever, and you know you're really going to cover everything, you don't have to be like detailed underneath, because you're just going to, you know, you're just going to wrap it and cover it with everything else, right? But then if you're making something like this raven or whatever, or even if like, I don't, that one, I did that one groundbreaker that was all, me, you guys follow my channel. I made the one groundbreaker that was 99% mache, and they had the spine was mache, and the ribs were mache, and everything was basically mache. And I made all that stuff first and really kind of detailed it out, so if I just use it as a skeleton, it would really look like a skeleton and look good. And then I decided to make groundbreaker out of that, and then put skin and stuff over it. But the good thing about putting all the extra detail into the ribs and all that stuff is it allowed me to leave stuff uncovered where I wanted to leave it uncovered, and I didn't have to worry about touching anything up, right? The detail was already there. So when I do this raven, I think I'm going to go like ballistic with it and really do a lot of that. We're going to have a lot of bones and a lot of different things underneath, and almost, I don't know, almost make, I'm not going to say 99% of the raven skeleton, but at least 65% of it will be kind of like a skeleton, and then we'll cover it from there. That way, you've got options to leave stuff open where you can see, you know, bones sticking out and this and that, and it just allows you to be more creative later on down the road, right? And I've never done it before, so we're going to push it to the extreme. I've been wanting to do some type of bird. Really what I've been wanting to do for a long time and haven't done it was I wanted to do some buzzards to perch on top of the house and stuff, and I haven't got myself to do it yet. I think that'd be fun too.
Ooh, raven hoop.
Raven hoop.
Well, raven rot, sorry.
Raven
Sorry,
rot.
I was driving that.
Yes, raven rot. With what? Raven rots? That's what this is going to turn into. Then we're going to spend a little bit of detail on this skull, right? We're going to put some lights in it now, thanks to Amy. I'll probably be regretting that later, but we're going to do that because it's a good idea. We're going to do some teeth for this thing, and Greg was doing a skull, and he was having some issues. He didn't like the way when he put his teeth in. He felt like it looked more like a lip. And see, even this, well, that one does too. But we're going to do, I want to cut this out, and I'm actually going to spin some detail. I usually don't spend time on my skulls, like this one here. Let's do this. He's falling apart now. Let's break his tooth off so he broke off. See, Greg, even this skull here, you've got that line right there, and that's that line that was irritating you with. And this skull isn't, this is not a replica. This was just a complete skull made from nothing but paper mache and ball and everything else, and I sculpted out of paper and I made the skull, right? But when we do this one, we're going to try to address the problem you were having, Greg, and when we go to put the teeth and things back in, I'm going to take and cut this outer layer. I'm going to cut this outer layer here off, and then we're going to put the teeth in. And then I'm going to do a little clay right over the top of this, and I'm going to create those grooves that you see, you know, when you look at a picture of a skull and bring it to the teeth, so we get that grooved section to pull down where it looks more like the bone, where you don't have that lip type of look. So that's the detail we'll put in the skull, and that's about as far as the detail will go. Other than that, then we're going to get like crazy nuts detail with this raven.
Okay, so you just a lot to the top.
I know.
And then we said I was going to have some of the dead stuff falling on the skull.
Ooh. We could. That's an idea. I hadn't thought of that, but that would look good. It's nice detail.
And says, Joe, you have one of those magic drink glasses. It never gets empty.
Haha, that's right. It's a bottomless glass.
And Moose is watching me again.
Sweet. Well, of course, I broke out the drinks. Now Moose is watching. Danny's watching something else, and Moose is watching me. I'm so entertaining to dog watch. Yeah, we could do some rotten flesh pieces down on top of the skull, maybe a rotten feather thing here and there. It was the, no, it was the teeth line and stuff that he was, because he had some posts on the group and he was frustrated with it. But Greg, though, you're making groundbreakers out of, are you making groundbreakers out of those, Greg? Because if you are, if you're making groundbreakers, right, and it's not just going to be a skull that's exposed, who cares? Leave the line there, and then just do, when you start doing the rotten flesh over the face and everything, pull that rotten flesh down over that teeth line where the teeth meet up to the skull. No one will ever know, right? You hide it. Hide it with the skin and other stuff. I do it all the time when I'm doing groundbreakers. That's the best way. You expose a few teeth, pull that flesh down over the top, and hide all that stuff. If you're just going to do like this one, where we're going to have this skull and it's going to be exposed, that's why I'm going to spend a little more time to try to create this to make it really look like a skull and get those ridges you're looking for. But yeah, dude, if you're doing a groundbreaker, man, just jam those teeth up in there and hide it. Hide it with the rotten flesh. No one will ever know the difference.
Nice idea,
Absolutely. Hide the mistakes.
nobody's gonna know from anyway. Just have to do it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. You're always going to be your worst critic. Right? No matter what you do.
Trust me, I know. I go to spin the top wall. I don't know anything.
I'm getting too much glue on my fingers now. Everything's sticking to me.
Danny says I hate furry, but it's time to fall. It looks great. See you in the morning.
See ya. Time for bed. Was it 9 o'clock?
Yep. Is that how you got there?
Yeah.
I want this.
He's huge, man. He's big. All right, Amy. See ya. Thanks for joining. Hmm. Two. Shout out to who? Sadie? Is that Sadie? Sadie? Knowing what they're supposed to be. I passed English because my teacher really liked me. Right? I was like in the school plays and stuff, and she was like the director, and I can remember practicing for a play one night, and she's like, hey, we need to talk about your grade. And yeah, I can make slime. Sure. But we had to discuss my grade, and I had like a failing grade. And she was like, if you do one paper, then that'll take care of it. So I ran through, and like, school's over, right? And I ran through a classroom and looked at the grade book, and I was like, holy cow. So then I had a friend, and we did this one paper real quick, and then all of a sudden I went from an F to a B+. So I'm not sure. You can install that too. Was anybody commenting on Facebook or anything? That's right. Must make sure my post is at the top of Halloween picking the show tonight. No, it's good. Not letting anybody move it. Otherwise, people are talking and get drowned. Thank you. Alright, like we're reaching a point now to where well, Jason, this was just a ball of paper 5 minutes ago, and we got it to this. Well, tonight, it wasn't much, man. All we did was, we're just replicating the skull. I got a skull under here, and we're wrapping it up. It's a quick, kind of a cheat way to make a skull. You can make them from scratch. I've done it before, but I got a skull underneath here, wrapped with aluminum foil, and then we're just doing a base layer of Mache over the top of that, and we'll cut it off again later on. I could probably make a Mache bullwhip. I mean, I haven't done it, but I'm sure I can figure out a way to do it. I don't know what use of Mache bowl would be, but yeah, I figure I could probably figure that out. Not sure what the
Wasn't it Steven's Sculpting?
yeah, skull clones. Clone the skull, make a replica. But I'm getting to a point that it's starting to, it's pretty sogged down, and it's starting to pull and tear other layers. And they had to wind up stopping and letting this dry and then come back and do another real good layer over the top of all this. I got paper everywhere. Oh, see, I'm trying to do this and it's stuck in my finger and I'm pulling paper off the top of it. Guys ever have that problem? Where the paper sticks to your finger, or is that just me? Could just be me. So it's so messy tonight. I've got scraps of paper everywhere. I'm getting glue and paste on all of it. They're all starting to stick to themselves. Oh, I'm gonna have to.
That's why we put that thing that keeps sticking to everything around.
Yep.
They will put all the books and sticky messy things. I usually end up with everything stuck to me.
It is much cleaner if you use a brush and brush it on, lay a dry piece down, brush over the top of that. And it can be faster sometimes too. I do that sometimes. I did it quite a bit on the Joker that I built a few years ago. But I use my hands a whole lot too. So my paper's really loose and it's really sagging. Or not sagging, but I'm moving it around quite a bit. And it's starting to tear. I'm going to let... I normally would want to put more on right now. But I'm going to create more problems if I just keep going. So I'm going to let this dry. Once this first layer dries, because the thing I'm still fighting here too is none of that really sticks to the, because I didn't put any tape on that, and I should have taped it. And I think even in my, I think in my tutorial I talk about taping it, and I think I actually did tape it all first. I think I'm not even using my own advice. Matter of fact, what I'm fighting tonight is the fact that I'm on top of that aluminum foil and it's sliding around. I would put more on here, but everything's kind of sliding. I've got it kind of stick. I got a good general shape. So I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm just going to go at it like crazy tomorrow night, late after I get home from work and different things. And I'll get this thing all layered up. And I'm probably going to put, like I said, I'm probably going to put at least 5 layers, if not 6 or more, all the way around on her skull. God, what time is it? We've been 9:20. That thing needs to set and dry. I guess I could whip out some teeth real quick. You guys want to see some teeth real quick? Make some teeth, that way they're ready to go. And next week I can get them installed and basically have the skull done. Alright. We'll,
Yes, please,
We will do some teeth. Okay, I gotta get this out of the way. Get that out of the way. Let's get this guy out of the way. See about getting my... See, generally right now, like I'd run and go wash my hands off real quick. But I'm not gonna do that since we're live. We'll peel this glue off my fingers right now. We'll pull out some clay and we'll do some throw together some teeth. That way they can be dry, and then next week we can put all that stuff in. And we can basically get the skull out of the way, and then we can move on to working on that raven. As far as making a giant skull, yeah, I could. If I wanted to dedicate the time to it, sure could. I made a big, huge dragon head and big pumpkin dragon for Halloween this year. Wasn't too bad. But yeah, make a giant skull. Alright, we've got, hopefully, this clay was the clay I made when we did that little pumpkin. And I think it's still good. So how long's that been? It's been a month, right? Since we clayed up the pumpkin. Close to it. And it's still good. We're going to use that same clay. Oh, I got the stuff all over my hands, so let's see how it is. Yeah, it's still pretty decent. We'll use that clay to work just fine. I'm going to cheat this. I'm going to put these on some toothpicks. Styrofoam would be awesome right about now. Got a styrofoam ball. That'll work. We've got another alright. The only thing I'm using the styrofoam ball for is I'm going to put and we're going to make some teeth. I'm going to put them on the toothpicks, and I'm just going to shove them in this ball so they can set and dry. Well, questions besides the giant skull? Okay, yes. I have answered the questions. How many teeth? 1, 2, 3, 13. No, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4 to fall off. No, I have 13 in it. Looks decent. We'll make 13 teeth. How about that? And since we're going to use clay on them, we'll wrap some tape over the toothpick first. Hope that clay stick. You were or weren't? Oh, right on. So that, yeah, that's going to be our concept for a raven, which is going to be awesome. That's the part I'm excited about, is this raven. I think that should be wicked awesome. You didn't miss much more, Dan. I mean, there's not much to miss when you're just taking the skull and watch me put aluminum foil on it so I can put some mache on it. I need to go back and watch my skull. I have to go back and watch my skull video because I really think I taped that all off. Because of the fact that mache doesn't have to stick to the foil. No, I totally didn't do that tonight. God, that's so funny. That's how long it's been for me, this skull. And so I need to go back and watch the video because I think I really did tape the whole thing off and I explained that the tape helps it stick and all that crap. And then I didn't do it tonight. I mean, that's how long it's been since I've done a skull. Over a year.
Did you watch anybody from the computer look at
trial and error? Trial and error, right? Like, Alan Hawks has some pretty good videos, and back in the day, he had a video where he did, he kind of like grooved out teeth-looking thing in wood or whatever, and then used hot glue. I did that for a while. It was kind of fun. And then, as I got deeper into mache, and I really wanted everything to be like more mache stuff, and I just started trial and error, doing everything. Playing with it more. The reason I started using toothpicks was I put some teeth in. What was it? Did I lose teeth in the wolf? One of my projects I did, and it may have been the wolf. I don't remember, but I just made the teeth not on something like this, and then stuck them in and glued them. And over time, when you wickle the moisture and everything else, they started popping out. And then I started doing toothpicks and stuff. That way I could really kind of jam it way up inside and glue it into place and everything else. And then I had this, this anchor point, something else besides just that clay, and it helped the teeth hold in a lot better.
Jason's had that watched the video before. I
didn't?
No,
God, I thought I did.
I've watched someone using
Yep. That's how I did my wolf teeth, right? And I even have... Oh!
I was sad because you're a great YouTuber, and I said thanks, and she's like, okay, I'll sad.
So I've got like Sculpting teeth and husks that I've got right here that I made, back in the day. And I still haven't used them yet. And this is like actually, this one's cold porcelain, right? Cold porcelain recipe. This was a claw I used on the wolf. I got several little teeth, things like that. But the thing I noticed though, the biggest pain with using the Sculpting clay or using the cold porcelain, especially for my stuff, because I put my stuff outside. It doesn't set. It goes outside for 30 days, so it goes through the rain and it goes through all that crap. When I use clay and do it this way, the clay bonds better. The clay bonds to the mache better because it's paper mache clay, and you got paper strips, so it actually glues a lot better. Even though I took the teeth and even the claws, right? The claws for the wolf that I made. I mean, I had wire and I shoved it way up in there, and then I hot glued all that stuff in and glued it up, and I brought clay and wrapped clay at least, a half an inch around the claw and around the teeth, and over time, with it's steel, it doesn't, the clay, the paper clay does not adhere to that sculpting clay, right? And it popped off and it would pop out. I had to re-glue them back in. So then I started kind of shied away from using sculpting clay and cold porcelain with my projects because they were falling out. So I went back to using like paper clay to make my teeth, paper clay to make my claws, because whenever I bond it together, it glues together. I mean, the Mache glues together and sticks to itself way better than using sculpting clay. That's why I back out of it. And it's a good project. It works well. It just weather's hard on that stuff.
Right, so this is the classic pumpkin cake that I do. And then, what is it?
Sharon?
Yeah, okay. Pumpkin with Sharon.
Yes.
I've watched a lot of the videos and you've tried all manners of ways of waterproofing your work. Have you ever decided what your definite go-to approach is?
My go-to approach right now, I still need to play with the driveway sealer, and I haven't done that yet. My go-to approach is, once my project's done and it's still raw, hasn't had any paint on it yet, then I'll use spar urethane. I'll spray that stuff on and let that set and dry. Then I paint it, and then I spar urethane it again. That's like my go-to thing. That's what I do all the time. And it still holds up great and still works pretty gosh darn good. So that's what I use.
Also, that you take the full quantity.
Cold porcelain does get kind of brittle. I played with that stuff a little bit. You gotta be careful with it. You can't build too thick or that stuff pops apart.
And Eric suspense on an organ waterproofing is important.
Yes, it's wet here too. I mean, I'm in Kansas, and it always seems October is like super wet and super windy. It's always a pain in the rear. I forgot I was going to try to do this stuff. Yeah, to wet my hands down, but I'm going to just use that paste. I usually don't use paste, but I'll use it this time. I'm not going to get crazy detailed with the teeth. Greg made some sweet teeth. The pictures he showed the other day were pretty awesome. I may spend some time and sand these down just a little bit more later, but that was actually too much clay because that's pretty big. So once this dries, I'll cut this thing down. But we're going to do some stuff like that, and we'll try to make some molars. They're always fun and a pain at the same time. And since my clay is about a month old, it doesn't quite shape up the best. But it'll work. I'll end up sanding these things down. What's that? Whoa, way too far. Instamorph plastic. No, I don't even think I've heard of that. Sounds interesting. That'd be fun. Where do you get it, Paula? Is that like online or? Yeah. So really, I haven't even been up here close to you guys. All I'm doing is taking a little bit of clay and I'm wrapping around the toothpick and kind of shaping it. Clay's a little old, so it's not shaping as good as I want without adding more to the clay. But it's going to work. I'll probably sand it down after it dries out to make them more of a better tooth shape. Wait. Amazon. Your favorite place to buy stuff? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to realize that. That's going to be the big thing. We're just going to let this stuff, we're going to glob this stuff on. Once this dries out, then I'll probably take my Dremel tool and some sandpaper and we'll detail this out a little bit better. Warble is expensive, from what I've seen, unless you guys know better. This clay's too wet, I can't even roll it very well. Who just jumped in? Oh, there's a... Yeah, this clay is falling apart. Sweet. Way to be on the up and up. Oh, I need to look some of this clay because it's just not. It's just not having it.
So now it's kind of a separate that you would put in hot water until hot cut and mold, do whatever you want.
I know what she's talking about. I've seen that stuff. But I've never got any of it. I know exactly what she's talking about.
The woman that just came on, she's actually in Seattle, and that is the biggest issue, people don't get.
To mold? I mean, mold, mold's everywhere, right? I mean, it's bad here too. Mold is nothing but a moisture issue. If you get these projects, like the skull, as long as you get it, yeah, you get in this point, you put a fan on it, you get to dry all the way out, and then you put your next layer on there, and then you make sure it dries all, as long as you get your project to dry all the way out, and then you seal it. And if it's not setting in a damp area that's dark for long periods of time as you store it, you won't have mold issues. There's a lot of my projects that I got that I don't have mold issues with because they're stored up in tight containers. It's all good. But mold is nothing more than a moisture problem. If you have moisture in the air, high humidity or whatever, and you don't have your project sealed, it'll create mold. And that's with anything, sheetrock, anything else. So as long as you get it dried out good, and then you seal it up, and then you're storing it in a decent area where it's not exposed to water all the time, you're good. But even at that, it all depends on how you seal it, because I still have a pumpkin sitting outside that's been rained on and snowed on and iced on, and it's not moldy. It still looks pretty good. Oh, pull back too good. Too quick. Yeah.
Oh, it's like Unhinged making him have my at least for all the coffee. That's funny.
Man, guys, and here's the thing, the teeth too. I mean, I'm using this clay. This clay is like a month old. I'm having issues with it. They look really shoddy right now. Once these dry up, I'm going to sand these things down and shape them better to make them look more like teeth. I forgot about the fact that I was going to make teeth and I didn't make a fresh batch of clay. This clay would be good if I was going over a pumpkin or something, but since I'm making this so small and it's so old now, it's having issues. So they look like crap now, but after they dry down and I sand them out, we'll have some decent teeth. Hopefully. Greg, did you do, I know you said you used my method, did you use clay or was it something else? Was it just Mache twisted up when you made your teeth? It is. And we're going to make 4 molars.
No.
Sculpting clay. And you get good detail with that stuff. Flatten this tip out a little bit. Let's see if we can get some. Oh man, this clay's just falling apart. We're going to try it anyway. I'm going to venture on. So I kind of flattened that out a little bit, and to do like the molar detail or whatever, I'm going to just push in a line, and I'm going to come back and basically make like an X right in the middle of this, right? So I don't know if you guys can see that, but basically what I've done is pressed in and made an X in the middle of this. That will play out pretty good as a molar once it dries out. If my clay was a little bit better and fresher, this would be way, way better. And this is what I get for being unprepared for tonight. Oh, like the stuff you just add water to, or whatever you get from like Hobby Lobby or something like that. I've used, if that's what you're talking about, I bought a thing of that once. I mean, it works out okay. It's like $20, right? For one small thing. And a pumpkin that size, I put so much clay on something like this, it would literally take me 2 or 3 of those things, so I'd have $60 wrapped up just in clay to do this pumpkin. So I stay away from that stuff and I make my own clay because it's cheaper. Greg, if you have a fresh batch of clay, it turns out a lot better. I've done it before more than once. And you got a nice fresh batch of clay, you can really get a decent tooth out of it. But when you're dealing with this old stuff, I mean, this guy's teeth, of course I didn't spend any time on them. They're okay. I left them jagged. I wanted it rotten, but they're just clay as well. And I don't even think I stuck those on a. I think I just went as simple on that guy as pushing this down on my fingers like that and letting that dry and said that's a tooth. Good to go. And you can do it like that too, right? Instead of toothpicks, you can mold that up, do a little daub like that, throw it down, let it dry out, sit down a little bit, move on. Oh, right on. Oh, let's go through one more of these looking things. I don't even like those. Those are too big. I'm going to roll a bunch of these ones real quick so I'm not going to let them dry out. These are just too big. Too big for this little bitty skull. Alright, there was a big science in teeth. Yeah, I hadn't thought about microwave either. I've oven dried some stuff before. That can get kind of tricky because it wants to crack out on you. Microwave sounds kind of interesting. Those teeth, we'll see how they go. I'll probably sand them down. They look huge right now, so I don't like them. So real fast, I'm just going to take and roll a few of these up real quick, a lot smaller. And I'm just going to throw them down here and let them dry. Inside of what? Oh, shit, not that in. There we go. Okay. Carrie's leaving us. She's tired.
We have school testing tomorrow. I need to get my sleep. It's a long day.
You're not taking the test.
I have to sit and watch them all. Make sure you're not cheating. Makes it for a long day. Trust me.
So I'm making some smaller teeth real quick, and these don't have any detail to them. I'm just squeezing these down into a small kind of tooth-shaped deal, throwing them down, let them dry. I'm going to compare them to these other ones. I'm putting the toothpicks, and I will use the ones that look the best. Dehydrator, that's a good idea. I mean, that's really the best way to dry mache. It's just getting the water out of it. If you've got a dehumidifier or anything else like that, it's getting the water out. You get the water out, bam, dries it so much faster. I never set any of my stuff outside to dry, even in the summertime, because we get so much humidity. Here, it takes forever. If you leave something outside to dry in the sun and the humidity, it's terrible. So all my stuff, it's usually inside under a fan. because my AC runs all the time when the heat runs, and my system is a little higher efficiency, so it pulls all the humidity out of the house while it's running, so it helps my stuff dry out a little bit quicker. What are you doing, Clark? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Let's do this. Alright, so I'm doing 10 teeth this way. We've got these other ones up here. I'll see how they look tomorrow. I'll probably sand some of them down. Next Monday, you guys will see the results of the teeth and which ones I go with. Let's see. Oh, come on. I got so much glue on my fingers that my phone won't react. Yeah. Oh wow, that's cool, right? So where's that at? Where are you at, Jason? You got a Ren Fair. I mean, we've got one up towards Kansas City, Bonner Springs. It's pretty cool. Renaissance Festival up there. Just curious where you're at. Dallas, Texas. Right on. There's a lot of guys down in Texas. Alright, so we got our pinhead guy there with teeth. These things really, guys, are too big. I don't like them. They'll shrink some because it's paper clay. I'll probably spend a little time and sand those down, but the little teeth that you guys can't see that are laying down here, that made much faster, they're probably going to look a lot better. I'll probably wind up using these, sticking them in. But teeth, I don't like making teeth. It's an afterthought. Alright, I'll sit down and just try to make a batch of teeth so I don't have to make them all the time. I used to have a whole bunch of them, but I've made enough junk that I stuck my teeth in. I don't have enough sitting around anymore. So we will do this next Monday because it's the 30th. See ya, Paula. Thanks for stopping by. Next Monday we'll put the skull together. At least we'll put the teeth in it. I'll have some fresh clay. We'll work around this line. Like Greg was having problems trying to get that sculpted in. We'll get that to look less like a lip line and more like a skull. We'll get that together. Maybe do a small layer of clay over the top of this. And start on the raven. That's what I really want to start on, is the raven. That's what I'm excited to do. So tomorrow I'm going to put more layers on this. I'll probably put 2 or 3 more layers on this throughout the week. Get it nice and stout. We'll get the skull put together, and then we'll start that raven. That's the big thing. That's going to be the fun part. So hey, thanks guys for showing up. I know it was a long night of watching me strip machete. It isn't too exciting, but tune in next week and we'll cut this thing off. I'll show you how to go through that, glue it all back together again. We'll wind up having to put another layer of machete once we cut that off and put it back together, and then we'll start working on that raven. I've really got to spend some time to figure out exactly how we're going to do the armature on that, and we'll start moving with it. And it'll be man, I'm going to wing it. It's just going to be learn as we go. You guys are going to learn with me. I may do some stupid stuff. You guys might have some better ideas. We'll figure that stuff out. But I'll see you guys next Monday. Later, guys.